Hello and welcome back to Teacher Jab channel with Mr. Jablonski. Today we're going to be introducing a new unit, our religions unit, and we've already discussed in some depth Judaism, Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, and Sikhism. This unit is going to focus more on the Abrahamic faiths, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, and we're going to see how they're related, how their foundation started, and kind of where they are today. So here we have three symbols, one in red, blue, and yellow. And I want you to take a moment and talk with your partner and label which faith belongs with which symbol. I'll give you about a minute to do this, and we'll see you in a bit. Please pause the video. Now that you've talked with your partner, let's see what the answers are. Looking at the red symbol here, this crescent, moon, and star, this is Islam. Looking at this two triangular six-pointed star, this belongs to Judaism. And you probably guessed that this symbol up here belonged to Christianity, but it's called a crucifix. That was actually a method used by the Greeks for execution, and eventually the Romans, but they were definitely not the first. Would you please add crucifix to this? Remember, get the cross symbol down. That's actually where it came from. That's where Jesus was killed by the Romans. And this is the symbol that the Christians used to remember that day. Moving on to the next slide. Here we have a chart that I kind of drew up a little earlier. And I'd actually like you to copy this in the back side of your packet. This chart explains the breakdown of Christianity. I get a lot of questions about are Catholics Christian, are Lutherans Christian. The idea is they're all Christians. As long as you believe that Jesus was the Savior and He rose from the dead, that basically makes you Christian. One of the earliest forms of this faith was Catholicism. And then there are various sects springing off from there. When I pause the video, I'd like the class to start copying this down. But all of these sects started much after the Catholic Church was established by the Romans. The Orthodox Church kind of broke off from that initially, and there's today really two Orthodox churches that I'm aware of, being Greek and Russian. There's also a Protestant sect, really started by Martin Luther, soon after the Renaissance, with his 99 Theses. But there's also the Anglican Church, the Methodist, the Evangelical, Baptist. There's many more sects from that. So all of these churches do belong to Christianity, and all of them do believe that Jesus is the Lord and Savior, and all of them do use the Bible in some way. There's varying traditions, but they all have the same core belief in Jesus. So now I'm going to pause the video. And please copy this chart down. Please pause the video. Now that you've copied this down, let's move to the next slide. We've been discussing religion for this entire year now, and there's really two avenues which we've discussed. Polytheistic religions and monotheistic religions. Both of these are on the word wall, but I'd like to review them, and I'm going to reveal the definitions. And after I do, would you please write them down in your notes next to this slide. That's polytheism and monotheistic faiths. I'm going to pause the video. Please pause the video. And by now, you should have written these down, remembering that polytheistic is more than one God, talking about the Sumerians, and monotheistic is much more like Christianity, looking at one God. Polytheistic faiths really came first. Monotheistics come later with the dawn of Judaism. But let's look to the next slide. Here I'm asking you to categorize the religions at the bottom. So here we have 8 religions and 8 boxes. And I'd like for you to plot the religion in the appropriate box, working with your partner, and then writing them down. Please don't just draw those lines like you guys like to do. I want you to write the idea in the right location. I promise it'll help you when you study later, okay? So, you have a moment to work with your partner. Please pause the video. Now that you've had a chance to work with your partner and discuss some of the ideas, I'm going to now give you the answers. So, Judaism, really the oldest monotheistic faith, definitely belongs here. Sumerians were one of the first civilizations, and they had a polytheistic faith, looking at those 7 gods of nature, reminding you of saltwater god, a freshwater god, god of wind, earth, and so on. Let's look to more faiths. Christianity, coming from Judaism, of course, would be a monotheistic faith. Hinduism could kind of go in both. Remembering that Brahma is the key figure within this faith. However, he can come in many, many, many forms. In fact, in millions of forms, giving different kinds of deities, different kind of personalities. So we'll call that polytheistic, although we know we could probably put it in the middle here. Let's look at Islam. That definitely belongs in a monotheistic faith, as Muhammad professed that there's only one God, Allah. And we'll talk more about these 3 faiths and how they're related in a little bit. Sikhism also is a monotheistic faith. You might have remembered that from some of our presentations. But Guru Nanak really established this, kind of combining some ideas from Hinduism and also Islam, and from Islam, that idea of one true and only God. Egyptian, where do we think this goes? That's right, probably polytheistic. Looking at Osiris and the other gods in those mythological stories. And I left Muslim here for last. This actually is the exact same meaning as one of these religions here, and hopefully you're thinking of Islam. Muslim, Islam are the same ideas as Christian or Christianity. It's just 2 different words for the same faith. Hopefully your answers look like this. Please give my class a moment to record these answers if they haven't done so already. So please pause the video. Hopefully by now you've recorded these answers. And I'm going to move on to the next slide. Here's a timeline. There's far more to this timeline than what you have, and the instructor can move this about as they see fit. However, I want to point out that around here, you have BC AD, or BCE and CE for Common Era. And you have a larger version in your packet than the smaller slide here. You may want to turn the page to find that larger slide. But what I'm asking you to do with this timeline is list the faiths in chronological order and list the date as best you can when it was established. Now, there's no definitive date. As you can see, there's kind of a hazy circle for Christianity here. But give it the best you can. But I want to know which came first, which came second, and which came third. So you can do this as a me thing, not a we thing, and record your answers below. Please pause the video. Hopefully by now you've been able to discover which of these faiths came first, second, and third, but I'm just going to slide this over and show you the proper chronological order for these faiths, showing that Judaism was the first of the monotheistic faiths. Christianity came after with Jesus, and Islam follows with the birth of Muhammad in the 600s CE, and him leading through the word of Allah and creating the Quran. Christianity came about probably around 100 CE after the death of Jesus, through the spread of his word and the disciples. And Judaism, as you can see, came before 3000 BCE with Abraham. So please record those ideas down. And I'm going to move to the next slide. So out of these 3 faiths, there were prophets, people who actually communicated with God and kind of established their global faiths now. And you can see that there are 3 ovals here, intersecting with one another and overlapping. And each oval actually represents a faith. And within each faith, there were specific prophets. And some of them are within many circles, some of them are not in all of the circles. So knowing what you know about the 3 monotheistic faiths we're studying in this unit, I'd like for you to plot which faith goes with which circle. You may work with a partner on this activity, but I'll give you about 2 minutes. and please label them as best you can. Please pause the video. You might have noticed that there are many faiths within this same circle, one being Jesus. And here we have Islam, with Muhammad as the most important prophet within that faith. But they also recognize Jesus, Adam, Abraham, and Joseph as prophets. So while they don't believe that Jesus was the Lord and Savior, they do believe that he is an important prophet within their faith. The next one is Christianity, and that would be this outer oval here with Jesus, Noah, Abraham, again. And they also include other faiths within Judaism, and Judaism would be that center circle or oval here. Notice Judaism represents many of the same prophets that Islam and Christianity do. However, they do not recognize Jesus. Jesus is outside the Judaic oval here. So that being the first faith, Jesus came after, it would be hard for the Jews to recognize a prophet that came after the establishment of their faith. Same goes with Muhammad and so on. If you haven't gotten this down, please do. But I'm going to go to the next slide. We have two questions here. I'm going to ask that you answer both in succession, and then I'll review the answers. Please pause the video. You may have noticed with your answers, out of the four options here, Judaism definitely is the correct answer coming first. Looking at our timeline, we discovered that Judaism did come before Christianity or Islam, and Catholicism isn't accurate as it came well after the establishment of Christianity and really with the foundational hierarchy and bureaucracy with the Holy Roman Empire. And we'll talk more about that in 8th grade. Moving to the next slide, which of the prophets below is not recognized by all the following. So some are recognized by all the faiths here, some are not. Which one was? And you should have selected Jesus, as he is not recognized by the Judaic faith as a prophet. Let's move to the next slide. Here we have 3 holy sacred texts. I want you to use what you know about world history and religions and decide which one is which. Please work with your partner and we'll come right back. Please pause the video. You should have realized through some of your presentations what you know, that this book is Christianity, or the Holy Bible. The Holy Quran is from Islam, and it's labeled right there. And this document is called the Torah, and that belongs to the Judaic faith. Can you add that information below each? Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Moving to the next slide, we're going to unsum a large bit of text. And I want you to highlight the important faiths, important aspects of the 3 Abrahamic faiths. And we'll discuss them as a class. And please pause the video. You should have noticed within the Abrahamic faiths, the prophet Abraham is believed in all 3 faiths, and they have common ideas through the Quran, the Torah, and the Bible. Hopefully you've highlighted that, and your understanding of God as a universal creator is seen in all 3 faiths. That's why they're probably more similar than they are different. Let's move to the next slide. It's a responder question. Please work with your partner, and we'll be right back. There's also another responder question here. Please talk with your partner, answer both questions, and we'll review. Please pause the video. All right. Thank you for being with Teacher Jab and Mr. Jablonski, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.